Hi there. Yes, you are watching the Quantum Wellness Show. Are you surprised? Well, I am too. I am surprised that I am here, but there's a good reason. Nori, I know you expected to see Nori, and I'm a pretty poor substitute for Nori, but here I am because she had a call, an emergency call, and she had to go to the hospital to help a friend because that is what friends do. So she called me and said, "You doing the show?" And I said, "Yes, I am." So here I am. And I'm going to do my best. But I have Jeni Ji with me to save the day. So this is going to be good after all. Just ignore me and listen to her, and then everything will be fine. Well, welcome here, Jeni.
Oh, thanks, Augie. Thank you, Augie. And it's always so much fun whenever we are chatting, either with you or with Nori. So
Yeah.
today is like, one of those days for sure, being the 3rd of November.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, if you stumbled onto this show and don't know Jeni, say a few things about yourself.
Um, well, I mean, I'm a psychic clairvoyant medium, past life Akashic record reader, animal communicator, relationship coach, pranic healer. I basically read into somebody's level of consciousness to see where you're at and help you transcend forward with my insights into what I see for you coming up in all areas of your life, and also give you the steps in how to move through your situation. Because sometimes whenever we get stuck, we get into that negative vibe.
Yeah.
We all go through that. We can create blockages and it
Yeah.
stops us from moving forward. So that's why it's like, Jeni, what do you see with this or this or that? I'll give you my insights, answer all of your questions, and expand from that point on.
That's good.
So,
That
yeah.
was much better than what I could say. And now we talked right before the show that yeah, I am here now instead of Nori, and you said this third of this month is a special day, and that could explain some of it. So talk to that
Yes.
because
Yeah. Like today being the 3rd of November, I mean, like, even especially with Nori. I mean, if you take a look at Nori, she's got this huge heart, right? She's all about love and such like that. So for all of a sudden, she has to dash out to the situation, which is critical really with her friend.
Mhm.
So today's events are showing you where and how your destiny and your purpose is leading you. So with the work even that Nori does, the Doa work and all of that kind of stuff, she's right there
Yeah.
fulfilling her destiny, fulfilling where she's supposed to be. So expect the unexpected this whole entire month, but today, destiny, it's a very karmic day too. Karmic day can be a really, really good karma day for you, or if there's certain things that are going on for you today that are like, oh my gosh, this is just really bad, or this is not so good. Really pay attention to what it is that you're struggling with that is
Mhm.
not in alignment with you, that's not working, and so on. And then it's like, write it down, really write it down to see what's going on. And some of us are getting rewarded today with a lot of things that we've worked so hard on. And today could have opened up new doors, huge opportunities. For me, it did. I'm very grateful for my day, right? But that's the thing. It's really expanded and opened up newness today. It's like what energy you have sent out in the past and worked on, it comes right back when we least expect it. So
Yeah.
today is one of these days where utilize this energy right now. And if it's something where it's not as good, really pay attention to what is being shown to you, what needs to get worked through or ended or resolved or so on. Like with Nori, That's her heart center. That's her mission to help others.
Yeah.
She's a nurse, for goodness sakes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's right there on her purpose. She's right there where she's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
and and for those of you listening to this, he said this day opens up doors. Remember now, the day is not over yet. So sit down and concentrate on what you really want to have, or the door you want to open up. The day is not over yet, because you can put the seed in there, in the universal mind, for things to open up tonight, and then you may have it tomorrow or later from what you did today. So don't give up on today yet.
absolutely. And it's even like with myself, really, I didn't realize the energy of today until a couple of days ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh, of all days this month, I can't believe that. You know what I was doing earlier today? It's all about your destiny and where you're going.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like really pay attention. You could get that call today at the last minute, that new job comes to you, or you know, like, or something, you got that house, you've got that car, you've got this situation, and it's like, wow, you know, that's amazing, right? Because we all get rewarded with karmic situations for the good and the bad, of course, right? You know, that's part of our journey and our life lessons and so on. That's why I
Yeah.
do my weekly cosmic vibes video on my YouTube channel and talk about the energies, what to expect, how to utilize it every day, what not to do, what to do, so you can move forward and bring it on.
Yeah, that leads me to what Nori had prepared for today, and that is what to say yes to and no to this month.
Yes. Well, November, the energy of November, it's very powerful because now we're in Scorpio energy, and Scorpio energy is all about transformation, rebirth. This is also a huge month, by the way, just to kind of give you that pre signs. There's a lot of passings in November and December, but November is a really big month for people when they're going to pass on as well. So this energy is all I know, right? So it can be, you know, that's why I always tell people, don't hold back your feelings with someone, you know, always, because you really truly don't know when that conversation you have with that person, that's it, that's over, it's gone. So this month, I mean, always, I mean, I'm not just saying this month, but always really share from your heart what you truly want to say to someone. Don't hold back your feelings with that person. Take this opportunity with this month in November and really share what you really have to say, and say no. This is no. November represents no. This is a huge month for a rude awakening, by the way, where take a look at how many people are taking you for granted. How many people are walking over you? How many people, like all of those not so good things? This is the month to set strong boundaries, because Scorpio can be very manipulative. So the truth is what we are going to want to say. And it's about the world energy as well, because Mars is in Scorpio right now, which represents wars. So we all can clearly see what's going on in the world, and there's a lot more coming right now. But with this energy, with this month, it's expect the unexpected. And people are like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of, doesn't matter who it is. This is when you're going to take your power back. This is when you're going to be like, that is not okay. You cannot treat me like that. I am not going to do that. Like, no, 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 no. And setting boundaries hugely, because what you allow others to treat you or do to you, it's going to continue.
Yep.
So this is why it's a really big month for transformation. And especially we have Thanksgiving, you know, for the US, people are having Thanksgiving and holidays and such. And holidays can be really, really good. And holidays can be not so good.
Mm-hmm.
There can be like a family gets together, friends get together for like Thanksgiving, let's say. an argument can start for with anything, especially if this energy that's going on right now with the energy with wars in Scorpio and all of this energy, it can go either way. So if you start to notice, and I mean, this is with anything this month where you're like, you know what, I'm not even going to take that phone call. I mean, we all get phone calls coming in and messages, and we're like, I'm not even going to go there with that person, or I'm not even going to start chatting with that person because they're going to drain my energy, all of those things. This is where the no comes in. And if you get involved with that person, things could explode, meaning the energy with wars and Scorpio within ourself that's going on. So it's really important to kind of take that step back. Like if I wanted to have a conversation with somebody that's not as good, let's say, right? We all have those people in conversations, right? You know?
Yeah.
I would never talk to somebody unless it happens just like that, confrontation, which you can, right? I would say, you know what, I gotta calm myself down. I gotta really calm myself down before I talk to this person, because if I don't, I'm gonna say something or do something that I regret. Because when our emotions get higher, what are we gonna do? We're gonna vent out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll regret it. So the energies this month, we have a master number day on the 11th. 1111 is a portal day. It's a very high energy day. It's a master number day. We can kick it up really high that day, set your intentions, start writing your vision board or add on more to your vision board. You know, it's like, don't worry how things are going to come together. The universe is going to help support that for you whenever you're in alignment with that energy. Don't worry about how, because the second you start physically writing things down, let's say, then you physically start seeing things happen more physically. So it's a huge vibrational manifesting day that month. And November 11th, Remembrance Day as well. So it's we're clearing a lot of karma this month.
Yeah. Yeah, I
We're
think
clearing a
so.
lot of karmic
We've
situations.
we've been talking about what not or no to say to, but it appears to me like our whole life is more like a series of yeses and nos. Sometimes we pick the right yeses and sometimes we don't, unless we start looking at it from the backside of from the universal way. Maybe the things we said no, yes to didn't work, and we're kind of sad about that, but maybe something good will come from it. So it actually was the right decision anyway, even though it didn't feel good. What do you think of that?
Yeah. No, that's very true, because I mean, like, we can say either yes or no to circumstances, right? So let's say we say, yes, I'm going to do this, regardless what it is. We go ahead and do it. And then we're like, oh my gosh, like that was the wrong mistake. That was the worst thing I could have done. What's important is anytime something that negative, let's say, happens, no matter what it is, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that step back. What did I learn from that? Like, what did I truly learn from that situation? Because that is growth. That is how you evolve. This is when lessons learned and all of those things. It's like, if you didn't say yes, you're going to wonder, gee, what if?
Yeah.
So that's why we all are on the journey of self-discovery. And, you know, I've even had people say, yeah, but Jeni, if I don't say yes, or if I don't do that, these guys aren't going to like me. These people aren't going to like me.
Yeah.
You have to remember this. When you let go of the wrong people, God will send you the right people.
Yes.
And you have to
Absolutely.
trust that. You have to trust that. Like there's people that have been working so hard and whatever it is they're doing, they're like, wow, I've been working so hard on this and this and that. I'm not getting acknowledgement. Nobody just seems to care or pay attention. And then something can happen just like that. And that can change your life and the change of the course, because God is like, don't worry about that. When you're staying true to who you are and following what you're really passionate about, God opens new doors for you, just like that. and he puts you in place with who you're meant to be, who is going to help you, who inspires you, and so on.
With other words, everything is connected, and even the
Yeah.
people around us we don't know, we're connected to them with the right vibration. We make the connection stronger and they show up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
why new doors open all of a sudden. And I've had it even times to myself, even where I'm like, wow, I've worked so hard on this, let's say, whatever it is. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. Maybe I should just write it off or do something else. And just when I'm saying that, I always surrender everything. All of a sudden, something
Yeah.
happens. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing. And it's bigger, and the opportunity is even wider than what I had ever imagined.
Yeah. The universe can create better in our life than we can most of the time. Because we are thinking with limitations. Universe, God, if you want, have no limitations. So they can dump all good things on it that we never even thought of. Yeah.
No matter what we're doing. No matter what we're doing. And, it all comes within does this feel right for me? And, even if you're like, gee, I don't know, I'm going to say yes, right? Geez, I don't know, I'm just going to say yes. Don't be hard on yourself, because even if it falls apart, even if you're like, wow, why did I do that or whatever it is, how would you have known if you didn't take that risk? How would you have known if you didn't? However, if it's a decision where you're like, let me kind of think about this first, ponder on what I should do, and even if you don't get clarity, don't worry about it, because that's all a part of our journey. And we're going to have that even around the full moon the new moon as well on the 13th. That's
Mm-hmm.
huge. That's a huge month. New moons, and especially this month being Scorpio as well. New moons is a time when things get really sensitive. It's a time where it's like surgery is not recommended. And this is also for your animals too. And it's all about death and rebirth. However, more people pass on the new moon than any other given times, like an eclipse. Look at Matthew Perry and so on and so on and so on. I really hope the media tells the truth of how he really passed, right? I mean, he had a
Mm-hmm.
heart attack and drowned, bottom line, right?
Yeah.
So, but God only knows what the media is going to say. So that new moon can really open up new things and beginnings for you as well, as long as you work with the energy. Like it's going to reset things for you. So different energies. It's like, okay, today is the best day to reset this, or tomorrow is a better day for me to do my workout, or that's why I do my cosmic vibes video, right? But
Yeah. And you mentioned a word here, and that was risk. I would say,
yeah,
in my experience, don't be afraid to take risk. Make
yeah,
it a calculated risk.
yeah,
If it feels wrong, maybe you shouldn't do it. But if it feels scary, look more
yeah,
into that one, because that's where the good stuff is hidden behind. Boy, was I scared when I left Europe and came to the US. That was a
yeah,
scary experience, but I ignored the fear and I just went on what I knew I had to do.
yeah,
So
yeah.
don't be afraid. Just take calculated risk. And if you don't know everything to start up, that's okay. You'll figure it out once you start, because then you have to figure it out. And you talk to people that have knowledge you don't have, and you assemble it all into one ball of knowledge, and then you move forward. So anyway, I'm done. Now your turn.
Well, you have to like take risks. I mean, not everybody's like that. I mean, I do. I walk into the unknown all the time, right?
Yeah.
That's just who I am, and we really have to invest in ourselves, because who else is going to invest in us? Bottom line, we can reach out for help and all kinds of things, or we can join a class or do this or this or this or that, right? But if we don't invest in ourselves, and this month where this is why it's like, no, say no. It's like, you know what? No, I'm going to study today, or no, I've got to work on my website today, or no, I'm going to take a day for me, whatever it is. This is a huge month where you're going to be walking towards what you're really drawn to, because this energy is going to show you. It's a very big month of manipulation as well, as I mentioned. That's not the not so good. So, I mean, really pay attention to others when they're saying something to you. When people try to make you feel guilty about something, those aren't your people. When people are not supporting you in a positive way, those aren't your people, because those people want you to stay at their level.
Yeah.
And the minute you start walking the opposite direction, they're not going to like that. So they're going to start to talk,
Yeah.
because they don't want that energy expanding. They want their energy on themselves, and they want to keep you where they are. However, if you want to move forward, you got to take those risks, set those boundaries really strong, work towards yourself, set goals, write down, okay, today I'm going to study, or tomorrow I'm going to work on this, or like whatever it is. Because the only way you're going to see any change is for you to make that change happen, even if it's baby steps. So
Yeah.
doing that, you're going to see things. If we rush into something too quickly, it can fall apart just as quickly. So it's like slow and steady wins the race. And then all of a sudden, things can really speed up times 100, literally, especially this month. Even we were talking about that, Augie, about, I can't believe this is November already. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah, the time is speeding up, at least by a third by now compared to 30 years ago. And when you were talking about here, don't be afraid to take risk. And ever so often we get brilliant ideas. That's the universe talking to us. Those brilliant ideas, when you think about them, 2 minutes or 20 seconds later, they're gone. Don't let that happen. This is what I do. I have this electronic device with me. I keep it with me always. When I get a good idea, I grab it and I give myself keywords. At the end of the day or 3 days later, when I remember to, I go back and replay it, write it down in my telephone log, and from there on, I will never lose it.
yeah. That's the best thing to do, because it's not about, I might hear something, or I have to do this, or I'm drawn to this, or whatever. Just exactly write it down, or use a recorder like that, because that's your soul giving you pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Pieces, it's like, pieces of the puzzle that we want you to do this. Don't worry about how it's going to come together. Don't worry about when and all of that. Just start writing it down, because even when we start writing it down, it's like that vision board. We then start putting our puzzle together for our vision board, and then a couple of days goes by, and all of a sudden you might be like, I just heard this. Write it down, because you're creating your destiny. You're creating your life's purpose when you're doing something you're very, very passionate about, and so on, because you're going to be letting go of the wrong people, because you're opening up doors for the right people that is going to be more in alignment with your vibrational and frequency to help you expand and transcend forward in quantum leaps.
Makes absolute sense. And we're talking about saying yes to things. Sometimes don't necessarily make the decision on your own. Engage the family in it. Engage friends in it. Get advice from it. If they laugh at you, that's okay. Throw that one in the trash can. Just get advice from people that know more about what you are trying to do than you do. And then take it, not necessarily as gospel, but evaluate it.
Yeah. It's like who you surround yourself is who you become. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. So I would, I get people asking me, well, what do I do? Who do I do? So I'll give you my insights, my clairvoyant insights to what I see for you, and so on and so on and so on. And one of the things I say, follow those people who really inspire you. Like, do you have a mentor? Who really inspires you? Start following them. And, because you want to stay up in that positive mind, those positive thinking. We can all get especially this month too. We can all get run down with so many different things. And it's like, okay, I got to gravitate away from that. So now I'm going to be following this person. I'm going to be like looking into this because that's inspiring. And that's exactly like Augie, family or certain people, either they'll work with you and help you or they won't. I mean, with me, I do everything on my own, right? And I reach out to only people who I know that support me in a positive way, right? So it's really important. It's really important. And this is when you're going to find that this month being very karmic, relationships are going to be ending as well. And relationships are, could be anybody, right? Marriages, friends, business, your neighbor, whoever, right? Relationships are relationships, right? And this is when you're going to start to see even more situations coming together when you trust the process, when you surrender it and start investing in yourself. Because the highest form of grace is silence. So whenever you take time out for yourself and meditate, you're going to hear those messages coming through. If you go to like a busy mall or a busy place, it's going to be really difficult to hear those messages coming through.
Yeah. Too much thought energy floating around that disturbs the channel.
Yeah.
But also, I would say, let me ask you this, a lot of people, they spend more time planning their vacation than they do planning their life. How would you coordinate saying yes or no now to the decisions that needs to be made now? How do you coordinate that with a lifetime of yes and no's? Can you see what?
Yeah, I mean, it's like getting like making yourself a priority, number one, right? And it's really, really crucial and important to stay in the now. I mean, I just recently spread my dad's ashes, and he's been passed on for, like a few years now. And finally, it was that time. I didn't set anything. The doorway opened up at the right time for me to go and do it, right? So when you're wanting to, let's say, plan a vacation or just certain things, we can look into different things that we want to do and write it down. Yeah, I'd like to go here. I'd like to do that and so on. But the world is changing so quickly right now that even, they're talking about that certain people who are not vaccinated aren't going to be able to travel anymore. All of that kind of crap is starting to talk about it more and more and more, right? So that's why it's really important to kind of stay more in the now. We can plan certain things and everything. I have people all the time, Jeni, when are you coming here, here, and there? I'm like, I'm not sure when it's right divine timing. So this is why investing in yourself, taking a look at, okay, what's important right now? What's my priority right now? We all need a vacation here and there. We all need to do lots of things. However, it's more staying into the now, right? I always remember my dad, just to give you a long story short, he was a musician and stuff and taught and played at weddings and churches and all kinds of things. And he had some woman call him who was, I think, like 89 years old. And she said, I want to book you next year, a year from now, for my 90th birthday party to come and play at my party and so on and so on and so on. Right. So my dad, of course, does it. And he gets off the phone. He goes, oh my gosh, that woman might not even be around next year at this time. Right. Like as a joke, my dad was a jokester. Right. But, that's the thing. We can kind of, okay, I'm going to do this here, or I'm going to do that then. But you don't know what's going to happen around that time when you have something booked nowadays, or you want to do this and this and this. Even when I went away, it was kind of more last minute. It was like that week where I had that opportunity, the only time to go. And I'm like, okay, and I can understand why I went.
Yeah, I bet that woman would be around on her 90th birthday because of her attitude. She's going there.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And for yourself, what do you rely most on? Is it your intuition, or would you look at the stars? or is it maybe a combination of them?
I actually combination. So let's say, for instance, if I wanted to book my flight to Hawaii, right? I'm not going to book any traveling during Mercury retrograde. Oh my goodness, no way. Because that brings a lot of chaos and delays and all kinds of stuff, right? You know, so what I do is I basically, it's like, okay, what direction do I want to go? What decision do I want to make? I will kind of take that time out for me, like I chant every day and take time to meditate every day and so on and so on. And I'm like, you know what, I'd like to do this or to do that. What do you do, Jeni? What direction do you go? And all of that. And I listen to what feels right for me, and it's like, if I'm not sure, let's say, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to dash into that decision right now, especially if it's something major,
Yeah.
right? I'm just going to kind of put that there and kind of go with the flow and see how that feels like, see how the
Mm-hmm.
energy feels, and so on and so on. And that's pretty much how I do things, right? But if it's travels, yeah, I'll look at Mercury retrograde and stuff like that. And I will look at certain dates. That's why I do my cosmic vibes video, right? Like I subconsciously kind of knew the third. I heard that for quite some time in my mind, November the 3rd, right? And I'm like, something big's going to happen that day in a good way. And I let it go. I wrote it down, what's going to happen today. And then all of a sudden something happened. And I'm like, oh my God, like, wow, that's phenomenal, right?
Well,
So,
you expected it.
well, I
You
can
told,
feel it, right? Like I can
yeah.
feel it intuitively, right? Like even like just to give you an example, many years ago, John F. Kennedy Jr., 6 weeks before he passed, I knew there was going to something happen, and I could see the plane and water, and I knew it was going to be somebody more like that. And then all of a sudden, and I wrote it down, I put that date. Okay, what's happening on that date? I keep hearing it. And then that was the exact date that his plane went down and he passed on.
Wow.
I
Well,
get
you can,
messages.
yeah. And for those others out there listening to the more they start relying on it and the more they are looking for it, the better they get at it.
Yeah. So think of it in a positive way, like in a really positive way, right?
Mhm.
That's the thing. Uncertainty, you can always book a reading with Jeni, right?
Yeah.
But to get those confirmations, but it's like start writing things down. But whatever you're like not sure of, write down, okay, now what's the positive things with this and what's the not so good things with that.
Yeah.
And then
Now
you know,
you do psychic readings with people.
yeah.
And when they come with some situation that is pretty bad that they want some advice on, does it feel to you like I can really help that person?
Yes.
Is that the
Yes,
feeling you
because
get?
oh, absolutely. Because I mean, I've been doing readings for almost 40 years, even actually 40 years, if not even longer. Oh my God, looking at my age. Oh my God. So, oh Lord. Right. So yeah, over 40 years I've been doing readings and such like that. And, you know, whenever there's certain situations coming on, we all go through the good times and the not so good times. And this is when we get stuck. Right. And that's why like certain people, they're like, you know what, Jeni, I just need some confirmations that I'm on the right path or I'm making the right decisions, and I will read into that energy and I'll say, this is exactly what's going to happen if you do this. And this is what's going to happen if you don't do that. And then you, of course, will be able to make that decision, what feels right for yourself. Right. So
Yeah.
it's, we all get those times when, I mean, if somebody says, you know what, I have a feeling my dad's going to pass away, just as an example, right? I will never, ever, ever tell you when your person is going to pass away or that person is going to pass away,
Yep.
because that is up to God to decide, and that person's soul and soul group and so on and so on. And one of the main reasons why, as well, is I had somebody do that to me when I was a teenager. They told me your dad's going to die at this time. Every single year he'd plant that into my mind for many years. So every single year for like 20, 25 years after, that season, whenever that season would come up, I'm like, oh my God, my dad's going to pass away. And I thought I would never, ever do
Yeah.
that to somebody ever. And I would just tell somebody, you know what, if you have some concerns about that person, go spend time with them or communicate more with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I want to say is that you have been on here with us several times as a guest,
Yes, always grateful.
and I get the emails, Nori get the emails, and we get the texts. I don't know, I think the last time you were on, I think I had something like 7 or 8 emails afterwards saying that she
Wow.
helped me so much.
Oh,
See, you
wow.
don't know this because I never told you, but
No.
there are people that actually say she changed my life.
Oh, wow. Well, that's why that's
Yeah.
the number one reason why I do my work, honestly. That's my high for me when I really know that I've truly, truly helped someone in,
Yeah.
you know, whatever it is that they're going through and give them the ways to
Mm-hmm.
help them through it and what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. Tell people where they can get a hold of you, and also maybe a little bit about what you can do for them.
well, I mean, like if you want to book a reading with me, the best way to do it is go to my website, soulworkwithjeni.com, like Jeni. Soulworkwithjeni.com. Send me a message through there and I will get back to you. And also my YouTube channel, Jeni Ji Cousins. I mean, I do weekly cosmic vibes videos there to tell you how to utilize the energy, what days are good, what days aren't so good, and so on, with a lot of details of what you expect. Subscribe to my channel because I also have a new podcast out. Well, it's not as new, but Soul to Soul Connections with Jeni Ji. Even I've interviewed Augie. And when somebody reaches out and wants to book a reading with me, I'll read into your level of consciousness, first of all, to see where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people always have all these questions, no matter what it is, of course. So if somebody asks me, okay, how's this job going to go, for an example, I will give you my insights because I'm clairvoyant. I get messages 24/7, constantly, all the time. And I'll give you my insights into what I'm hearing from spirit. I just say spirit. I never know what messages are going to come through because when they start coming through, boom, 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 it starts coming through. And
Mm-hmm.
you can ask me anything. Like I'm also an animal communicator. I read into your past life Akashic records, let you know why this is happening to you, who this person is, and all of my insights, what I see coming up for you in all areas in your life, to give you that peace and understanding that, you know what, you are going to be okay. Or
Yeah.
if you go this route, this is what's going to happen. No matter what it is, if it's on a person, people are like, well, I met my soulmate, da 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 da. And I might say, you know what, I'm not seeing that. But what I will do is I will give you my insights. Okay, this person, whoever it is, this is all of this is what I'm seeing. This is where I'm seeing the relationship going. This is who they were to you in a past life. This is why they've come back. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's up to that person to make the decision. And there's never any judgment for anything, anything, because we
Yeah.
all have our own path to walk on. And we have to show
Yeah.
compassion towards other with kindness.
Yep. And that is, we know we're in the right path when we start thinking more about the welfare of others than ourselves.
Yeah, to be of service.
To be of service. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I talked to somebody earlier today, you know, the first thing he says, how can I be of service? And I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, it was just how everything was going. I'm like, wow, I said I really like that, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that was so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's like
Yeah.
that, right?
That's wonderful. Well, I see we're coming down towards the end here, and Nori will be back, and I'm just substituting this time, so she will
You're
be back
awesome.
with you.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yes, you are.
there's no making up for Nori, so because
No, Nori's
this,
wonderful. She's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, this is her passion. And when you work in your passion, you can't get any better than that.
That's right. And that's why she's where she is right now.
Yeah.
She's a nurse. She has that.
Yeah.
She knows what to do and how to handle the person and everything. So, of course, she's exactly where she's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So until then, just
Yes. Always grateful.
see you on Broadcast Team Alpha on Tuesday nights, and on the Mastermind Connection, where we do incredible things, on Sundays at 2 o'clock East Coast time, and 8 o'clock in the evening on Mondays and Wednesdays East Coast time. And if you want to find out more about that, send us an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com. And I'll send you some information and a link to come and check it out. And maybe you can also create your future the way you like it to be before you have to live it. That is what we do. So anyway, thank you very much, Jeni. And folks, go to her website. I've been there many times. Check it out, because you're going to find some things on there that's going to make your eyebrows go up and say, I got to get in touch with her. Okay. Thank you very much, Jeni.
Thank you, Augie, of course.